And this is why, regardless of how much we like good conflict resolution, we like emotional intelligence. You got to understand that apologizing in hip-hop does not work. Because apologizing in hip-hop is not hip-hop. We don't want to hear the words off. Nobody, I don't think, like, you can have your beef, y'all can have your resolution, y'all can do it, but to go on stage and apologize in front of your fan base and the world, it turns people off. Because number one, it was unnecessary, and number two, it's a sport and it's entertainment, and those are not the founding foundations of hip-hop. It's like, it's gladiator. It's all love, but it's a gladiator sport. Now, as a man, we respect you. As a man, we respect you. But as far as this sport goes, in hip-hop, nah. But I understand it, because who wants to be embroidered when these guys really don't like each other and you playing it as a sport and they playing it as war? Drake is a very calculated individual. That's the one thing I respect the hell out of. He's calculated. That boy know how to think. And he be out thinking people. And when he sits down, he doesn't just make a song. He comes up with a strategy. You can't go to war without a strategy. You cannot go to war without strategy. So the strategy, when you're thinking as a strategist, you taking a step back and you looking at the playing field. Oh, I'm going to let them move, then I'm going to move here, then I'm going to take this move, then if they move, I'm going to say this, or boom, boom. So now you're thinking from a chess perspective. While some people playing checkers. And then not only is the strategy, what's bigger than having a strategy in military, call it a campaign. So now you take it even a further step back. All right, how I just go connect to my legacy in the next 5 to 10 years? What's my campaign though? See, Future and them had a campaign. We don't trust you. That campaign sold their albums. Flame this. Bring everybody else on that has an issue that people already know. There's rumors flying around. Boom. That's their campaign. We don't trust you. It's all strategic. So, you know, you got to understand, even in wartime, it's just like business. As you move and you operate, you have to think steps ahead. If I do this, then they must do this. Then therefore I must do this. So I'm going to do this. So that forces them to move like that. If you study game theory, then you can understand this. Game theory teaches you how to make a win-win or a win-lose or a lose-lose. To set yourself up in these scenarios so that you're forcing the hand of your enemy, right? So that you can win at life in all these different scenarios. This is why I like the game, man. The game is interesting when you play it. And a lot of us don't know how to think because we become emotional. And when you're emotional, you're not strategizing. You're reacting. You're completely, reacting to whatever is happening. But what I don't like is the emasculation agenda that be going on with some of these things. So, right now we don't have anybody that is big enough that is going to speak upon those things. One thing Drake said, he said he got me rapping like I'm 50. When 50 was doing it, he would call out certain things. Right? When there was a time when rapper didn't like certain things, they would call it out, but now they don't want to call it out. They're afraid of getting canceled. And that ain't hip-hop. That ain't hip-hop whatsoever. You afraid of getting canceled. Now you ain't gonna never say nothing that's real. So, what was the last thing I wanted to talk about? I wanted to give y'all some game on some. I was looking at this, and I had said something on Twitter. X, as they call it. Drake waited till after Ramadan to choose violence. And I was saying, at least he better than Israel. Because this is the Jew versus the Hebrew. It's a biblical war going on. It's spiritual. It's spiritual at the top. It's spiritual at the top. I always wanted it to be Drake versus Kendrick. I never wanted to see, be honest, I never wanted to see Cole in this fight. You know what I'm saying? It's the Hebrew versus the Jew. And this is where this thing could get interesting, because if I was, and I heard some things, Um, I heard that Kendrick had a different verse, and he had said things a little differently. You know, maybe possibly calling bro a colonizer and things of that nature. Now that would be interesting as a place to go to, as his way of attacking Drake culturally. And if you being strategic, you want to create that divide that forces people to choose sides. And you want to hit something that's deeply ingrained in people's belief when you go into war. So like calling somebody a colonizer, and this is what I heard was on the original take that he took off. I can't confirm or deny whether that's true or not, but this is what I heard from credible sources. This will be very smart and strategic if that's the way that he was going. Now Drake is going personal, saying that, listen, I know more about you guys, not just Kendrick. He's baiting him and saying, drop it. You been wanting to drop it. I ain't afraid of it. He said, you got a diss that you had for 4 years. Now this ain't West Coast versus East Coast. Drake is Canadian, running Black American rap. It is what it is. Kendrick is West Coast. West Coast gonna get personal. He got a lot of pockets that he can go into. It'll be interesting to see which way that they go and attack each other. Drake goes sub the personals. I know information about you. You really don't want me to reveal everything. I unloaded the first clip. Don't make me have to unload the rest of this clip because I got a lot more. You know what I mean? And his thing is trying to change. His way of winning would be changing the perception of how people perceive Kendrick Lamar. I'm just giving y'all some game on if I was running the play. I don't know why people don't come to 19 Keys and ask me. I'm trying to get my light right. I don't know why they don't come to 19 Keys and ask, because I can run the play right. You need a war general during this time. You need a war general. You cannot win this game playing games. You feel me? Like if Cole would have came to me, I'd have gave him some advice on how to move steps and steps ahead. And you can take yourself out and remove yourself out of it. But it's like when you say when you up a person's diss record about you, call it a bazooka and things of that nature. Nah. That's why Drake was like, man, I don't care what Cole said. That shit was whack. I've been listening to Cole since Friday Night Lights, so I want to see him win. You feel me? I want to see him get the respect that he deserved, but y'all got to start tapping in so we can give y'all the game. Problem is you got bad advisors around you or people that you don't respect to give you the advice, because if you're a king, you know what I'm saying? You got to have good counsel. A king is only as good as his counsel. And if you don't respect the men around you and you do something completely different that makes them look bad, then you start to lose the respect of your men as well, to where you now not going to be able to command the loyalty, you feel me, and the allegiance of your team. Now, instead of them looking like some cutthroat killers and warriors out there, got the squad looking iffy. So that's not how you move. You got to move with the war principles, especially when you're dealing with something that the whole world is watching. Each step has to be calculated. In life and business, this is how it goes. Every step, when you start thinking and you rise above emotions and you start thinking and you say, all right, this is how I feel, but let me take some time, right, to where I can get clear thinking, and then let me go to a few people I respect and get counsel. And sometimes you need counsel outside your circle because the advice is too personal. They may start saying stuff that you want to hear, and they know what you want to hear. So they may want you to come back to them, so therefore they're going to give you the advice that already confirms what you're thinking. So this is why you need outside counsel, so that they can give you a different perspective that is not so closely connected, because they don't know you like that enough to want to appease your thoughts of the way you think. Right? So therefore you can make a better and higher level decision. It goes for life. You gotta have, before you make decisions, think about who's the two people I trust. And if those two people, they should be different type of people, not the people that's gonna say the same exact thing. Yo, should I do this? They may say no. When your intuition tells you one thing, but outside counsel is data. And when your intuition is not matching up with the data, one is informing you of the truth. Which one is it, the intuition or the data? When they not lined up.